Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's session, we have a simple task. We are going to look at the solution to the relative math class test on probability, just as you have on your screens. Okay, so please take and stay with me whilst I walk you through the solution, which happens to be the marking scheme. So it means it's supposed to guide you to mark, yourselves. All right, so let's move on to where the solution, starts. All right, so remember you were told that anytime you are given a question, after reading the question, go check whether you have any salient, parts of the question that you are supposed to underline, very critical. Okay, so I'm going to adhere to all the instructions that you were given in class as well. So let's read the first question just as we have on our screen. So I read, there are 5 possible answers for each question in a multiple choice examination containing 12 questions. If a candidate answers the questions randomly, find the probability that the candidate gets A, no questions right, B, 9 questions wrong, C, at least 1 question right, then D, not more than 10 questions wrong. Okay, so remember I told you anytime you have this situation per experience, you will know that we'll be dealing with what? Binomial probability question. Okay, so for binomial probability question, look at the sub question, in fact, the actual questions, not the preamble to the question, the actual question, because we need to fix our success and what? And our failure. Okay, if you look at what we have here, the questions, we have 4. Okay, so here, if you read the first one, no questions right. So it means you get all questions wrong, basically. Okay, then at least one. So if you look at it critically, ordinarily, we should have gone for getting, the question wrong. Or, here I wrote get it right. Okay, I think, it should be, but I will do the editing maybe later. But let me make my point here. So ideally, if you look at it, you see that the wrong will appear more, though this is in terms of right. But you can see that because we said no questions right, so it means in that way it is the same as all questions wrong. So you have 3 in wrong and 1 in right directly. Okay, so like ideally, we should have gone for wrong. We fixing our probability of success as what? The wrong. But you can see that you know that usually when it comes to questions, your success cannot be the wrong. Okay, your success, ideally should be you getting it right. Okay, so I guess my point is well made here. All right, so here, because of that, I recognize, or you're also supposed to recognize this as a binomial probability question. In that case, you quote the binomial probability function, which will attract a mark of 1. Then after quoting, you have parameters. So you need to determine your parameters and find their values. So here, your n will be the number of what? Trials, which indirectly will be the number of sampled questions in this case, which will be 12 what questions. Then p, small p, will be equal to probability of getting it right. Okay, of getting it right. So in this case, I should have written maybe get it right with the S. Okay, so that would have been better. Okay, anyway, our candidate get it right. So we are fixing our success as getting it what's right. The candidate getting it what's right. And you have what? Look at this. You said you have 5 possible answers in a multiple choice. And you should know that, here the value for the probability of success is not given. So you have to critically think and know that because you have 5 possible answers, the right answer will be 1. So it means you are going to get 1 out of what? Out of 5. So that will give you your probability of what? Success. So in this case, my probability of success, which is, getting it right, I've told you always define your success. And that would be 1 over what? Over 5. Then if your p, small p is what? 1 over 5. Then your small q, which is the probability of failure, would be equal to 1 minus small p, which will be what? 1 minus 1 over 5. And that will give us 4 over 5. Okay, so you can do that mentally and write it here. And x will be the number of successes. So now we've defined, all the parameters and we found, okay, their values. So at this point now, you come to, so what you have here is a general information that you are going to use to solve your A. Okay, so in this case, you come to A. A, what do we have? We have P, get no questions right. And because I fix my success as right, okay, so if I have get no question right, then it means my X will be equal to 0 because my success is what? Right. And here, no question right, will mean my X will be equal to 0. So on that note, probability of X being equal to 0, wherever you see, all your parameters, X, that will vary. So once that X at this point, you just go and substitute into the probability function that you've stated here. Okay, and that will give us 12 combination 0. Your P is 1 over 5, okay, to the power 0 because, okay, it will be to the power what? X. S is 0 here. Then, okay, 4 over 5, which is your P, to the power what? 12. So it will be N minus S. Remember, your N is 12. So N minus 0 will give you what? 12. So at this point, okay, what do? Use your calculator to find a combination value coefficient that you have here. Okay, use your calculator to do this, but you can use your head as well, especially with this one. To the power 0 to the power 1, we can easily do that. So that will also give us 1. And this one, okay, to the power 12 will give us this huge value. We can still write it, okay. If you wrote it as decimal, that's okay. Only that if the decimal you wrote all fine, but if you approximated, you have to approximate to 4dp, then you indicate your approximation. So take note of that. So at this point, yeah, what do? I multiply this. Okay, if I multiply this, this is what I'm supposed to get because it will be 1 times this. So if you leave your answer as a fraction, that is okay. Okay, or you leave your answer as decimal because this fraction is huge. Okay, if you are writing, even writing the numerator itself will take time compared to you writing the answer here. Okay, so here, if you leave your answer in terms of fraction, remember I've told you avoid decimals if possible. Okay, so if you leave it in a fraction, that's okay. Or the decimal representation here, you can choose not to avoid. Okay, what do you call it? Your fraction, because the value here, the fraction here is huge. The value is involved, so you are required also to what? Approximate, or you can approximate. Okay, so and then we move on to B. I guess my point is well made here. So B, okay, again, therefore P gets 9 questions, okay, wrong. So we are looking at 9 questions wrong. So if you look at 9 questions wrong, okay, this probability, the event here is in terms of what? A failure. So we have to move it to our success because it's not in terms of right. So if you are moving it to your success, remember, okay, it will be the same as get, okay, 3 questions right. You have 12 questions. So if you get 9 questions wrong, obviously it means that you get 3 questions right. Okay, so this is the same as exactly 9 questions wrong, which will be the same as if you are moving from the failure to success, it will be exactly, okay, the total here, which is 9. You subtract it from the total number of what? Of questions. So that will give you 3. So 3 questions, then you take it to your success, right? Remember what you were taught. So at this point, what do you do? Oops. Okay, forgive me. So now that you move from your failure to your success, you can state your probability in terms of X. Okay, so once you quote it in terms of X, then now you know your X is 3, you know your P, your Q, and your N. You just come and substitute that here. Use your calculator to do each of what? Of the factors, and that will give us this. Then use your calculator to do the whole of this, and that will give us this. You need to approximate. So if you approximate, you indicate your approximation. And in here, I've told you that your first approximation must always be 4dp, unless otherwise stated. Okay, so that will be it for question 1. Okay, A and B. Now let's go and look at that of what? C. C, what are we given? We are told, okay, that we are supposed to find at least 1 question right. So P gets at least 1 question right. So here you can see that keyword there. So you underline at least. I should have even underlined that in the question because I've told you that these expressions are special expressions in terms of probability that you need to underline. They are at least 1. Okay, so at least 1 will mean we know anytime we see at least 1, we are going to use that relation 1 minus P none. Okay, so that will be equal to 1 minus the P none is for the right, your success. So it will be no question right. Okay, so that would be equal to 1 minus. Fortunately, we did no question right in A. So you infer. Okay, and you come and write it there. Okay, otherwise, if you go through you are just stressing yourself. Unless maybe you didn't trust the value that you had here. Okay, so you wanted to do that as a check. Otherwise, always infer. So if you infer and you come and subtract, this is what you are supposed to get for the C. Now let's come to the D. That's where most of you were found wanting. Okay, so D. Okay, now I hope you are taking note of what the marks was allotted there. Okay, all right. So D, what do we have? P gets not more than 10 questions was wrong. Okay, so not more than 10 questions wrong. You know is the same as what? At least, okay, 10 questions wrong. Do you agree? Okay, all right. So maybe it's a rhetorical question. Let me put it that way because I've told you that you are not supposed to respond. Let me flow. All right. So get not more than 10 questions wrong. Okay, not more than 10 questions wrong. So meaning you are going to, so this indirectly will be the statement. Let me see if I can write. Okay, get not more than 10 questions wrong. So not more than 10 questions wrong, meaning you are going to get what? Less than, okay, 10 questions what wrong. So not more than, okay, so 10 questions what wrong. So if I'm supposed to put it that way, but in actual fact, that will be the same as at least 2 questions right. So its opposite will be, okay, what do you call it? Greater than or equal to, okay, your right, which will be what? You have a total of 12, so that would be what? 2. So when I'm done and you still have questions to ask, okay, you ask, I'll go back and explain. Okay, so at this point, this is what we are supposed to get here. So if you're able to move from here, which is in terms of your failure, to your success, then you should know. Not more than. Okay, so not more than. So not more than. So meaning indirectly, okay, it's less than. Okay, less than. Okay, less than. You should know. So less than 10 what questions? Okay, wrong. Which if you are moving, okay, indirectly, it will be, okay, more than 2 questions. Okay, right. Okay, so at least 2 questions right, you say, because of the equal to. So now at least 2 questions right. Okay, it's, what do you call it? Inequality, okay, statement in terms of the probability will be x is greater than or equal to 2. But if you are supposed to go the normal direction, you do x is equal to 2, x equal to 3, x equal to 4, up to what? X is equal to what? 12. So you know that obviously will be a whole lot of work. So let's check the other direction. The other direction, you have to deal with 0, 1, and 2. Okay, did I leave out what? Oh, please, I think there is. So I said get not more than 10 questions wrong. Okay, so it means I didn't. So meaning you can get or equal to. So this statement shouldn't have equal to here. Okay, all right. I'm confusing you. Okay, because you can be confused. But in actual fact, you should know. Okay, that okay, there should be equal to because I stated here when you say not more than. Okay, it is the same as what? Okay, less than. Not more than is the same as less than. So less than 10, there is no equal to here. So your opposite statement will have the equal to. And because this one contains equal to, that is 2 going. When you are doing the opposite direction, you don't include 2. So it will be 0 and what? And 1. You don't include 2 because you are moving, you are using the opposite direction. Remember, it will be 0, 1, 2, okay, up to what? Up to 12. Okay, so if you are doing the side, okay, which is if you go the normal direction of the inequality, you know it will be a work. Okay, and if you are going the opposite direction, it will be these 2 that you need to cater for, but you subtract it from 1. So now I think this is well explained for you to get. You are now on board. Okay, no sort of confusion. So that will give us PS equal to 0 minus PS equal to 1. Okay, so at this point, if you like, okay, you can go back and check whether you've done any of them for you to infer rather than writing it this way. So let's go and check whether we've done x is equal to 0. We've done x is equal to 0. So we could have inferred. So this value straight away and put it there instead of coming to write it. So, okay, if that's what you did here, it is perfect. There is nothing wrong. Always, if you have done something in the same question, you can infer from the same question, but not another major question. You take note. So then minus S equal to 1, you know, will be N is 12 combination 1, which X is your 1. Okay, then you substitute. As for this one, I know, okay, you've done the topic, so I shouldn't belabor that point. So if you substitute, you are going to get this. And remember, this we had, okay, this from, what do you call the previous one, what we have here. Okay, and I said you could have even put it here straight away. Then we haven't done S equal to 1. Okay, so at that point, okay, what do we do? Let me check whether we have done S equal to 1 somewhere. No, we have not. So that one we can't infer. Okay, this will be the only way. So that will give us 12. Use your calculator to do the individual factors. Okay, then after that, you use your calculator to do the whole of that. However, never mind if you approximate this, okay, because this fraction is huge in terms of the numerator digits and the denominator digits, okay, not its value. Okay, so take note, you could have put the decimal here, but the 4dp decimal, not any other decimal. Then after that, you come and, okay, multiply, which will give you whatever that you have here. So in effect, if you do the algebra here, calculation here, you end up getting what you have here. Okay, so question 1, the total marks will be what? 25. So take note of that. Now, let's quickly move on towards question 2. Okay, question 2, the probability that an ape will die, okay, at least you can see the question. So let me, okay, skip reading the questions. Okay, so let me see if there is anything that I need to underline. Okay, no salient part in this question. Okay, that's no salient part. So obviously, again, you will see, recognize this question to be a binomial probability question. So what do? We put the probability function for the binomial, okay, probability distribution. Then, okay, study the questions. You have 3. So let's see, half of them survive, more than survive. So you can see that your question is in terms of the ape surviving. So it means in this case, okay, what do you do? Okay, you fix survive, okay, as what your, okay, success. So in this case, I fix, okay, equally fix what will survive as what the success. Okay, so in that case, the failure will be the complement, which will be not survive. So n will be equal to 6, which will be the number of what trials, in this case, the number of what of sample size, okay, or the number sampled, which is 6 in terms of what we didn't write it in terms of value, but in terms of what letters or words. So now what do? P will survive. You need to define your success. So small p is equal to probability, okay, that the ape will survive. And that we are told, if you look at it, it was given, okay, indirectly in the question. Okay, because the question gave you will die. Okay, so the success is not 1/3. Okay, the success will rather be the 1 minus 1/3. So that's where you have to be very critical. So it will be 2 on what? 3. If you pick what do you call it? Your success as will die, okay, or will not survive, then in that case, okay, that will be 1/3. But when you deal with that one, anytime you are doing the A, B, and C, you have to move from what? You take this as failures and move from failure towards your success. That would be, more way. And remember, I advise you against that. So your Q will be what you are given, will die or will not survive. So 1/3. And X obviously will be the number of successes. Okay. If you don't bring the X, no issue. Okay, we are more interested in the 6, in the P and the Q values. Did I say the 6, the N, the P, and the Q values? Take note. Okay, so A, therefore, we are looking at P, half of them, okay, survive. So half of them survive. You know how many, okay, sample? You have 6. So half of what? Of 6, obviously, you know, will be equal to what? 3. So it means indirectly, we are looking at P, 3 of them survive. And because the probability here is in terms of your success, you can move from here to the X straight away. So it will be P, X is equal to 3. So wherever you see X, as for your N, your P, and the Q, they are fixed. It's the X that will vary from one question. So now that you know your X, you go and substitute that into the probability function come and simplify each or calculate each of the factors here using your calculator. Then after that, what do you multiply? So with this one, approximation will not be admitted. If you take it to decimal, I won't take it. Okay, maybe I will do minus half. Okay, because this fraction is not huge. Remember, you can avoid the decimal. So in this case, you avoid. Okay, then the B. Therefore, okay, what are we looking for? More than 2/3. Okay, so it means we need to look at the 2/3 of what? Of the number. And 2/3, you know, will be the same as 2/3 of the number. And the number we know is what? Oops. Okay, of what the number we know will be what? Will be 6. So times 6. So this will go here too. So it means indirectly we are trying to say that more than 4 survived, because we said more than 2/3, and 2/3 will be 4. So it will be more than 4 will survive. So more than 4 will survive. Now this statement is in terms of our success. Okay, so we can move from here to the x. So it means more than 4 will mean x must be greater than what? 4. It's really greater than, not greater than or equal to. Okay, so at this point, let's check the direction of the inequality and see which one will be better, the original direction or the opposite direction. So the original direction, you do, okay, 5, then 6. But the opposite direction, you are going to do 0, 1, 2, 3, and even 4. So that will be more work. And even you should know, with that one, okay, with the, what do you call it? The opposite direction, even after doing all that work, you have to still, what do you call it? Subtract it from 1. So that will not be the ideal direction to go. Okay, so at this point, I believe we all know this. We should know, okay, that. So at that point, what do? We now come and find P of x equal to 5, P of x equal to 6. Okay, we haven't done it anywhere. So we have to go and substitute, then simplify. As for simplification, we should all be experts. Just calculator work, calculator to do this, do this, do this. Okay, each of the factors. Then now you come and simplify. And that will give us exactly, okay, what we have there as our solution. So that will be it for the B. Now let's go and look at that of what? Of the C. So C, what do we have? We are asked to, okay, fine, we said less than, okay, 1/3. So it means we need to find the 1/3 of what? The quantity that we have there. Okay, so please take note. So 1/3 of the quantity will be 6. The sample size is 6. So 1/3 of that, we are going to get 1/3, okay, times 6. And obviously, we know we are going to get 2. So, okay, P less than 2/3 survived means less than 2 survived. 2/3 of this, of the 6. So it will be Px is less than, really less than 2. So let's look at the original direction. The original direction, you do 0 and 1. The opposite direction, you do 3. Okay, so you do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and subtract it from 1. So that will be a whole lot of work. So please, okay, take notes. So at that point, what do? Okay, you just come and apply your functions, okay, for x equals 0, x equal to 1, then you simplify. Okay, so please, okay, take note. So that will be it for question, okay, 2. All right. So we are done with the solution to questions 1 and what? And, okay, 2. Okay, so question 2 also, we are going to have 25 marks for question 2. Now let's go and look at what? The third question, question 3. Okay, so question 3, a committee question. So obviously a committee of 5, you know, you can read. Find the probability that the committee A includes 2 girls and 3 boys, includes at least 1 girl, consists of. So I've told you, anytime you see a question involving forming a committee, a probability question involving forming a committee, I've told you that you can always use, okay, combination approach. So obviously that's the approach that I also use. So what do we do? In doing that, we have to, because we know the numbers of what, of the categories that we are dealing with. Okay, it means I have to get my set representation. So in this case, I will let S be equal to the set of persons, B represents, okay, the set of boys, J represent the set of girls. Okay, and in that case, I would say that this implies that my number of S, I know if I sum the boys and girls, that will give me my total 11. My number of boys, B, will be equal to 5. Okay, and my number of girls, okay, J, will be equal to 6. Okay, so here, remember your normal, if you write normal, the bracket here should be the ordinary bracket, not the curly bracket. So those of you who use the curly bracket, you get B0. Okay, the curly bracket will be where you are representing, okay, your letters for the set. Here, you are using the set notation, and the set notation for the normal, okay, it must be the normal bracket. Then A, we are supposed to say, therefore, P, 2 girls and 3 boys. So it will be P, 2, J, and 3, okay, B. So you take the girls out of the girls. So the girls, how many do you have? So it will be 6 combination, what, 2 times you take the boys out of what? The boys. Okay, so 3, okay, boys from what? A total of 5. So that will be 5 combination 3. All over, you know, your denominator, you are dealing with probability. So your denominator will be, okay, the total minus the 5. This is your combination, the 5. Okay, I mean, selecting the 5. So that will be 11 combination 5. Use your calculator to do each of the combinations separately. Don't use it to do everything. Other than that, you will lose the marks here. Remember the advice. So this will give us what we have here. This will give us this. Okay, the denominator will be there. Now, you use a calculator to do the whole of this at a go, which will give you the reduced version, okay, here. So at this point, this will be the solution for that of what? Of what? A. Now let's go and look at that of the B. Okay, remember as you are moving from A to B, you leave a line. Okay, a line, not 2 lines. One will be okay. All right, so it's a sub question to another sub question. Then what do we do? B, therefore P, at least one girl. You know, you've seen that, okay, what do you call? I should have even underlined that, okay, in the question, okay, per the advice. Okay, so however, you still have a second chance to deal with it. At least one. Okay, anytime I see at least one, there's a special relation, which will be 1 minus P none. So P none will be the same as no girl. The none is referring to the outcome that we have here. So P no girl. Okay, so if no girl, then it means all of them will be boys. So it will be 1 minus P, okay, 5 boys, and so 5B. Okay, so let's check whether we've done 5B anywhere. No, we haven't done 5B. So that's going to give us 1 minus, okay, you are selecting 5 out of 5 boys, okay, over, okay, you are selecting 5 out of 11. So that gives us what we have here. So it will be 1 minus, use your calculator to do this, to do that. Okay, then now use your calculator to do the whole of this, which will give us this result. So take note of the presentation, very critical. Then the last one, okay, 3C, okay, P, more girls than boys. Okay, more girls than boys. And remember in the lesson, I said something, okay, relating to this, where I said, if you have more boys, okay, than this, when you see that, okay, type of question, I gave you a certain advice, and I asked you to go and find out whether that advice was the right advice. Okay, and no one, okay, got back to me. In fact, whenever you see more than, okay, this more than that, then it means, okay, these are the possibilities. You can get 5 girls because we are saying the girls must be more than boys. You can get 5 girls, you know, the total must be 5 and 0 boys, or you can get 4 girls and 1 boy, okay, or you can get what, 3 girls and 2 boys. That will be it. The next one, if you change this one to 2, the boys will be 3 and the boys will be more than the girls, but you want the girls to be more than the boys. So please take note. Okay, those will be the 3 possibilities. So again, you know how to deal with it. Okay, 5, okay, girls, okay, and 0 will be, you know, it will be, you select 5 out of 6. So it will be 6 combination 5, okay, over 11, okay, combination 5, you know, then plus. This one, it will be 0 combination, whatever, over. And so you know that will give you 0. So I've told you, anytime you have n0, take this one out and do only this one. The result will be the same. It won't change the value. That's the more reason why here I wrote, okay, 5 boys. In natural, I should have been 5 boys and was 0 girl, or 0 girl and 5 what? Boys. But the 0, okay, will not affect whatever that you have here. So in this case, again, you know, it will be 4 out of what, 6. So it will be 6 combination 4 times what? 1 out of 5, 5 combination 1, all over 11 combination 5. Okay, and what have you. Even with this one, someone could have written the whole of this. Okay, could have put it this way. Okay, 6, okay, combination 5, oops. Okay, then plus, okay, 6 combination 4 times 5 combination 1, then plus 6 combination 5 times what? Your 5 combination 2. Okay, then the whole of that over the 11 combination 5 is allowed. There's nothing wrong. If that's what you did here, you will still get your M4. So please take note. So at this point, okay, use your calculator to do the numerator, okay, and the denominator separately, okay, each of the factors there, combination. Then now at this point, you can use your calculator to do the whole of, okay, what we have there. Okay, at the normal circumstance, I would have said, reduce this one, come and reduce this one separately, reduce this one, then now you come and combine. Okay, your if that's what you did, that's okay. You still get the marks. Okay, that should have been maybe the ideal presentation anyway. So that will be it for question number what? Number 3, the solution to that. Okay, so now, okay, let's go and look at what? Our last, okay, question. Okay, all right, where we will write a lot in terms of what digits. Okay, so 15% of the participants in the conference presented papers. If a random sample of 10 participants is taken, so we know our sample size, which is the same as our n. Okay, find the probability that not less than 8 passed this. So this one is even in bold. Okay, so not less than 8. So you know, a binomial probability question. So question 4A. Okay, quote your binomial probability function, which is quoted here. You know the marks that here. Then you know we need to go and fish out our parameters and their values. So n, you know the n will be the sample size, which is 10. Then p will be equal to p, so small p will be equal to probability. So let's look at, okay, presented papers. So those who presented papers was what we take as what? Our success, not those who didn't. Okay, so that we are told is 15%, that will be 15 over 100, and that reduces to, okay, 3 on 20. Someone can use 0.15, it's allowed. Okay, only that, like I said, if you can work with fractions, work with fractions. Okay, because the fraction is exact, if you use it, no issues. Okay, because you won't approximate. But the point is, I want to be consistent. Okay, so what do I do? The advice is, okay, avoid, okay, the usage of what? Or the use of what? Fractions. Decimal, I should say. So your Q, you know, will be those who didn't present. So that will be 1 minus P, and that will give us 17 over 20. Okay, so at that point, okay, X becomes the number of successes. So A, therefore, no. In fact, this A shouldn't have been here because already the A has been catered for. So it's now that, so this shouldn't be there. Take note of that. Okay, I cannot repeat the question numbers unless maybe I'm moving from one page to the other. And I want the person who is marking to know that this is the continuation of A. Okay, otherwise, once it's the same page, don't repeat the question numbers. So this shouldn't be there. I guess my point is well made. So P, not less than 8, okay, presented. Okay, not less than 8. So you know that if it's not less than 8, then it means it will be greater than or equal to what? 8, not less than. So meaning the less than key will be there, not the new cancel. So if it's not less than, then it means it will be the opposite, greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to 8. Okay, and greater than or equal to, let's look at the inequality, okay, direction. Okay, it means we'll do 8, 9, and 10. Okay, by the opposite direction, we'll do 0 up to 7. So that will be a whole lot of work. So it means here we have to go the normal direction of the inequality. So that will give us what we have here. And this is where the advice comes in. So as for here, we should all be able to get to this point. Okay, and even at this point, where you use the binomial probability function, those of you who use the decimal, this will give you 0.15, okay, to this power. Then also, you know, okay, the correct decimal here to this power is allowed. Okay, only that per the advice next time, okay, you avoid the decimals. Okay, so if you substitute all the parameters into the binomial probability function and calculate each of them, this is what we are going to get. So this one, Okay, you do 10 combination 8, and that will give you 45. So we are going to do each of these separately. And you realize that if you feed your calculator with this, though you are advised to avoid fraction, did I say fraction? Why am I saying avoid fraction? Avoid decimal. Okay, in this case, you cannot avoid decimal because it will be a huge, okay, I mean, the fraction, it will give you decimal. And the decimal here, ordinarily, I know maybe per the advice, some of you would have approximated to 4dp for this one, come and approximate 4dp for this one too. But you can see that if you approximate 4dp, this will be 0 and it will make the whole of this one 0. Meanwhile, this probability is not 0. So take note. Okay, though the probability is not that significant, it is not 0. So you cannot say that you are approximating to 4dp, this will be 0. Okay, so it will be 0.000, then you close it, which will multiply this, and in effect, you get 0 as your final answer. No, that cannot be the situation. So you need to write everything that your calculator gives you, or even if you want to approximate where you have your fourth a significant figure. So indirectly, it's like, okay, you are taking, I shouldn't say that it's 4dp, it's not 4dp. Okay, so where you have your first significant figure, then you count, then you truncate. But it will be better you write the full value there. Okay, I use the scientific calculator, okay, on Google Play. So I didn't use the normal one so I use a soft calculator. Let me put it that way. So this one, the soft calculator gave me each of the values here. Then this one, okay, I know the value and that would be 10. So plus, don't forget. Okay, then this one, the calculator gave me, the soft calculator gave me this. Okay, then this one too, the soft calculator gave me this. So you do same for what we have here. So in effect, the overall answer will be, you come and multiply these three factors, and that will give you the first term here. Multiply these three factors, and that will give us the second term here. The third term, you come and multiply these three factors, and that will give us that. But the overall will be the sum of all that we have here, which will be this. Okay, so that's the actual. In actual fact, even this one, your calculator, it seems approximated because your calculator can take a certain number of digits. So this one is actually approximated, but because you picked it exactly from the calculator, you cannot say that it's approximated. But if you use approximate sign here, it is still allowed. Take note of that. Okay, so at this point, that will be it for question number 4A. So now let's look at question number 4B. Again, okay, if you read penalty 215, 8 penalties, calculated, but he misses correct too. So this one, you need to underline this, very critical. Correct to 4dp. Okay, even this, I think I should have changed it to maybe 3dp because you know that if you were going to approximate, you definitely approximate to 4dp. So those who were not critical can even get the answer. Okay, but remember the advice is avoid decimal. So here we'll see if you can avoid decimal. You cannot because of what? The demand of the question, the approximation. Okay, so in this case, this one's so easy. Okay, quote, your N will be the sample size, we are told, 8 penalties. Then P, or the number of trials. P, we are looking at, so here is only one question, so let me see. No penalty, so misses. Okay, no penalty, exactly 5 penalties. So I will go for missing as my success. At normal circumstances, I suppose you not missing. But because I don't want to be changing. Okay, so P misses no penalty. So it's like, okay, that will give us what? So I said misses a penalty will be our success. So P misses a penalty, and that is what 2 on 5 is given. That one was given directly. That's Ade misses the penalty. Then Q will be 1 minus this. So that's 3 on 5. So okay, your number of successes will be your X. So I, you come to therefore P misses no penalty, meaning this is in terms of what your success is missing. Okay, so that will give us X is equal to 0. So you substitute then, okay, you come and do your calculation. So you end up get to do each of them. Okay, so ordinarily someone would have ended at normal circumstances. The answer should have been 65, 61 over 390, okay, 625. Okay, however, because the question said, okay, we should approximate to 4dp, it means our answer must be left in terms of decimal. Then you indicate your approximation there. Okay, so if you didn't pay particular attention to that, you end up leaving your answer as a fraction. And that will mean that you didn't protect mass that you were supposed to protect. Then II, what are we supposed to do? P misses exactly 5 penalties, so misses this in terms of our success. So it means we know our X, so X will be equal to 5. So you come and substitute, then you do your calculations, which will end up giving you, okay, what you have here also in terms of what? For DP. Then this will also be 25 marks, okay, in total. So it means the grand total score will be what? 100 marks. So you are supposed to please indicate your score over the total score on top of your first page or below your last page, but it should be boldly written, okay? And when you are capture it, please don't write it, okay, to the left of your page or to the right. Write it either on top of your page, your first page, or, okay, just below your last page where you ended. So if you exhausted maybe your page here, you can write it just below where you ended. But it should be boldly written. And when you are capturing to, in terms of, okay, you sending, if you capture, make sure that, okay, comes out well. Okay, so please don't do anything to hide your marks. Okay, I will ask you to do it again, you know. Okay, so those of you have been doing that. I've told you, okay, please, okay, we are learning, so don't be afraid to, okay, definitely you make mistakes. If you don't perform, okay, I mean, to the satisfaction of your parents, myself, no issues. I know you are learning. So just take note of your mistakes, okay, so that you don't repeat them, okay, the next time. Okay, so on that note, that will be the solution to the class what test. Okay, so I would like to say thank you very much for your attention. God bless us all. Okay, so hello, profs. I think a mistake was detected along the line. So we are back. Okay, I was made to know that the value here, okay, the decimal representation of what this fraction that we have here wasn't the initial answer that I stated. So I have put the corrected version there. So please take note. So if your answer was this one, okay, you are right. So give yourself the A1 that you have there. So the first one was wrong. Take note. So if you marked yourself wrong because, okay, it didn't coincide with the answer for the previous one, please, okay, go back and give yourself that mark if provided this was the value that you put there. And you also indicated your approximation. Please take note, if you write the equal to without the approximation being indicated, okay, please, okay, at the normal circle should have been A0, okay, because I want you to be more particular, but I'm going to make it minus half. So minus half if you don't indicate the approximation. In any case, I've told you anytime you approximate, indicate. So it will be minus 0. I said minus 0, A0. Okay, so if you don't indicate your approximation, it will be A0. I don't have to be lenient. I need to train you the right way so that at every point, anytime T, I know you will, okay, have our marks protected. Okay, so once again, okay, thank you very much, okay, for your time, and make sure you take note of the correction made.